If you are a fan of the New York Mets, then you're feeling really good right now. You got to be. At least I hope you are. The Metropolitans, they demolished the Yankees 12-3 at the stadium on Wednesday night, and they swept the season series against their crosstown rival for the first time since 2013. So, time to talk some Mets baseball. We're going to do it with the host of the Subway to Shea podcast, my guy Anthony Rivera, who joins me now. Anthony, I am assuming that you are doing well, that the vibes are good around the Mets, the vibes are good with you, but how are you doing?
There's nothing better than coming on here with you to talk about good vibes with the New York Mets and how sweep it is. That's all I got to say.
Well, hey, you've also come on here with me and talked about times where the vibes haven't been so good. So pleasure to talk to you when the vibes are good. And Anthony, with the amazing sweep in the Yanks for the first time since 2013, do you view this as a significant moment for this team this season?
I think it is. I think it is a big moment for these Mets because we are right in the heart of the trade deadline, and with a couple of days left to go, the Mets really needed to show that they were going to be big-time players. We were kind of on the mend. Were they going to be players? Were they not going to be players? Are they going to buy? Are they going to sell? And right now, I think they are legitimate buyers to try to get into this postseason. And with that two-game sweep, the way they swept the Yankees, the season series, and how it all went, kind of running New York for this season, I think this was huge for the New York Mets and their hopes at doing something at the trade deadline and being players when it comes time for the postseason.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And we're going to get more to that trade deadline a bit later. But you got to talk about the Mets offense because they put up 12 runs against the Yankees on Wednesday night. What did you like about the team's approach at the plate in their latest victory?
They took advantage of a lot of mental mistakes from the Yankees. They really hit Garrett Cole hard, and everyone was in on the act. Mark Vientos, Tyrone Taylor having that big monster home run to tie the game. And then you talk about Francisco Lindor, who had the two big home runs. And thankfully, we got to see some of that polar bear left in Pete Alonso. So a lot of power from this Met team. Obviously, they're not all hitting on all cylinders, but it's great to see them get a 12 spot when we needed it.
Yeah, definitely great to see the offense there. 5 home runs on the night for the Metropolitans. And when you look at this Mets offense, Francisco Lindor, he's been very impressive, especially as of late. What aspects of his game do you think are making the biggest difference for the Amazons? And also, do you look at him as currently playing at an MVP level right now?
Yeah, I think he is pretty much playing at that MVP level at this moment in time that we got to start talking about it. But can I say every aspect of his game? I mean, the defense has been very well. Obviously, the offense and the power. He's stealing bases. He's now 20-20, going for his 30-30 like he did last season. He's got 20 home runs to lead the team. He's got 60 RBIs leading the team. And we're talking about a guy that at the end of what was it, April and into the beginning of May was batting .089 on the season. Now batting .259. He has led the charge after being put in the leadoff spot, and hopefully he leads this team right where they need to be in the postseason again.
Yeah, Francisco Lindor heating up, playing well at an MVP level. Got to be impressed with the turnaround for him this season. Okay, let's look ahead. With this season sweep of the Yanks under their belt, the Mets are now a season-high 5 games above 500. They are all alone for the second wildcard spot. They're just a game and a half back of the Braves for the first wildcard spot. Now, the Mets, they're going to start a 4-game set with Atlanta on Thursday night at Citi Field. So, Anthony, what are you keeping your eye on in this big weekend series against the Atlanta Braves?
Yeah, this is the biggest game. This is the biggest game tonight and the biggest series this weekend of the Mets season. And I'm definitely looking at game 1. I need the Mets to set the tone tonight. Obviously, they have the Mets winning leader right now on the team, which is Luis Severino. He's been a big part of this turnaround this season. It's going to be crucial for him to get off to that hot start and to take care of business and for the Mets to win and set the tone in game 1, because we don't know what we're really getting in Kodai Senga in game 2, and I'm pretty sure they're going to have a pitch count and a limit on him. Then you got Tyler McGill going on Saturday. We don't know what we're getting from him either. He's up and down. And David Peterson on Sunday. Set the tone in game 1 and get this team off to the right start where they need to be.
All right, see if the Mets can set the tone on Thursday night in game one of the four-game set against the Braves. The last thing for me, Anthony, and you mentioned this earlier, so with the trade deadline just around the corner next week, what moves do you think the Mets should consider to bolster their roster for a postseason run?
I'm not seeing any big crazy moves, but obviously they need relief pitching. Whether it's one or two relievers, that would be great. They might need to also start looking into having a starting pitcher, some back end guy that eats some innings, because Christian Scott is injured now and we don't know when he's coming back. And if they could somehow figure out a way to get an outfielder, because we don't know when Starling Marte's coming back, and we also don't know the severity of the Harrison Bader injury. If they can get an outfielder a la Jesse Winker, because I'm tired of seeing him beat up on the Mets, if we could get something like that and maybe a reliever from Washington, that would be great. But definitely relief pitching, maybe a starting pitcher, and a backup outfielder, I would say.
All right, a couple needs for the Mets. We'll see if they address those at the trade deadline. Right now, Mets playing well, a season-high 5 games over 500 and all alone in that second wildcard spot in the National League. That is Anthony Rivera, the host of the Subway to Shea podcast. He'll be tuned in, tapped in to the Mets series this weekend against the Braves. Anthony, I will talk to you soon, and hopefully the good vibes continue.
Hopefully. Thank you so much, Dexter.
Anytime.